Hi and welcome. My name's Sarah. It is October 20th, 2021, and I'm glad you're here. I just mentioned that I was on a juice fast, so maybe a little fuzzy headed as my body and my mind and my brain detox. But I'm really happy you're here today. This is Awaken Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday. And I want to welcome the new people who are listening. So what I wanted to start out by saying is, meditation is like a secret, I don't want to say weapon, it's a secret potion that can completely change your life. It has mine. I know it's done it for many of you. And some of you know I wrote the book Soul Centered. And that word soul centered for me was a word I coined, even though I realized later other people had used it. But in my mind, it was a word that really differentiated the way I lived before meditation and then the way I live after meditation. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% all the time, but the word soul centered for me really is differentiated from the other way I lived, which was object referral. Some of you know Deepak Chopra, and he often used the word object referral. And what in the world does that even mean? Object referral is basically identifying yourself or figuring out who you are based on your external circumstances, where you grow up, what people thought about you, what you look like, what socioeconomic class you grew up in, how much you weighed, whether you were popular, maybe the accolades you may have had, the self-esteem issues, based on your winnings or losings. And so object referral is when you identify yourself based on the objects in your environment. That's how it is. It's like where you went to school, where you grew up, how much money you have, how your parents were, how people treated you, how popular you were. All the externals, what people thought about you probably played into that. For me, that was a very unstable way to live. Whether people liked me or not, whether I was popular or not, what you thought about me was more important than how I felt about myself or how I identified myself. And this was obviously many years ago. And I know some of you still have what's called object referral. I certainly do. Another maybe more popular vernacular is codependent. I'll figure out how I feel once I figure out how you feel. I'll be okay if you're okay. I'll be okay if you are feeling a certain way towards me. So for the opposite of that is what's called self-referral, or what I like to call soul-centered, so that no matter what is going on in the ever-changing landscape of relationships and of the weather and of my age or the way I look or the way I feel or anything, no matter what's going on out there based on numbers and letters and the ever-changing landscape, I'm still right here, right now. And that's really what soul-centered means. It means not being dependent on anything or anyone for your sense of self and safety and security, for your sense of well-being and presence, for your sense of feeling good, no matter what. One of my friends, Marcy Shimoff, wrote the book, Love for No Reason, right? Love for no reason. And that's really what it is. It's being you, being happy, being comfortable in your skin for no reason, just because you get to, it's your birthright. And I think that was the biggest change in me, and maybe for you, since inviting meditation into my life. Because when you close your eyes and you tune in, and the magic doesn't necessarily happen, but what does happen is you start to refer back to that ever-changing part of yourself. So I always like to ask the question, how might you normally introduce yourself? How might you normally introduce yourself? And I see some of you, you may say where you live or how many kids or grandchildren you have or where you went to school or what you do for a living, or maybe even other things, what groups you're affiliated with, what religion, what political groups, what you stand for. Some of us identify ourselves by these groups we affiliate with, these affiliations. So if I ask you, who are you? What might you say? If you were walking in to meet a new group of people, there are 52 of us on this call here, how might you introduce yourself? I invite you to put that in the chat. And if you're listening to this in a recording, you can put it in the comments. How might you introduce yourself? I might say, my name's Sarah. I live in Santa Barbara, California. I'm married to a beautiful man, Marty, and I have a dog, Gigi, and I used to live in Sedona, Arizona. I used to work for Deepak Chopra for many years. I lived in a Zen Buddhist monastery for a couple of years. I went to India and lived in an ashram for a while. I've made meditation part of my life, my whole life. I have a brother. I grew up in Massachusetts. So I'm telling you all my stuff. I'm turning 60 in November. So, there are a lot of things I can tell you about me, right? I was in the Army, but does that really tell you who I am? And does how you, hi, Vanessa, thank you. Yeah, so people are sharing a little bit of who they are. But what if, and I think maybe Rena, you've been on these calls before. What if I asked you, who are you? Who are you really outside of the ever-changing aspects of you, ever outside of the memories you had, the experience that you may have had, and outside of the plans for the future you may have? So I'm going to invite you to, if you want to, close your eyes, deepen your breath if you like, and ask yourself the question, who am I? Who am I really? Now, there's no right answer here, except for the answer you're hearing or feeling or imagining. So ask yourself a few more times, who am I? Who am I? Who is this one sitting here? Who is this one that has been here my whole life? What is this ever-changing part of me? And who am I outside of my roles and responsibilities? So I invite you to open your eyes if you want to and identify the qualities or the feeling or the sense of who you really are, and introduce yourself that way. For instance, I might say, I'm Sarah. I'm curious. I'm generous. And I like to have a lot of fun. That has nothing to do with anything except for who is embodying this body that's wandering through this life. So I invite you, if you can feel it. Thank you, Rena. Yeah, connected to the earth, love and peace, lover of people and life, funny, creative spirit, goodness. Yeah, you might not even have words for these experience you had when you asked the question. That's perfectly fine. Nature, happy and smiling soul. Thank you for sharing all this. Exuberant and adventurous, compassionate, happy, and like to be busy. A learner. Connection, compassion, and joy. Grounded and kind, loving and fun, warm. Knowledge keeper, seeker. Love nature, adventures. Optimistic, caring, transforming. Love it. You are being and you are becoming. For sure, that's probably true. And I would imagine that what's living through you as you is love. In its various shapes and sizes of love, it's so infinite. It could be feeling warm and goodness, some of the words you've been using here, full, nature. It could be all of this transforming. That's who I see you as. And that's who I know myself to be. And no matter what, I think it's everyone, whether they know it or not. And I think we can see beyond it when we let go of the labels, even the name calling that we often use. So I'd love to see a world without name calling. That's what I really would like to see. Maybe you can check on that and see if it's happening in your world. If you can start to notice the way people pigeonhole others. That person's a liberal, that person's a anti-vaxxer, that person's a libtard, that person's a conservative, that person's an environmentalist, that person's a tree hugger. If we can let go of all the labels where we don't see people as they are, and then we get to see them as they are when we drop the labels. Some of you are studying the beginner's mind lesson in the teacher training. We talk about who are you without all the labels and what is going on in this world without all the labels. Anyway, let's go into meditation. Thank you for playing. Meditation is what takes you to the direct experience of that love that lives through you as you. And that is the most important thing, because once you use that as your reference point, the whole world changes, and your perception of yourself and everyone else is much more generous. Okay, so let's close the eyes if you want to. I'm going to guide us into an open awareness meditation, and I'm going to close it with the Soul Prayer by James O'Day. Getting comfortable, as all of you know, oftentimes I give you the 5 essentials. First, thoughts are okay. Second, be kind to yourself. Third, let go of expectations, even if you've done this meditation before. Fourth, don't try too hard to have a certain experience, just have the one you're having. And then fifth, stick with the whole practice if you can. So if you want to close your eyes, you may. If you want to gaze softly toward the ground, you can. It's up to you, however you want to sit through this. It's ideal to be sitting upright so that you can create this new normal, one where you're present, yet relaxed, one where you're being rather than doing, and you're not napping. Okay, so settling into this moment and into your body. You might deepen your breath a little bit. Breathing in slowly and fully, and breathing out slowly and fully at your own pace. Giving yourself 3 long, slow, deep breaths to send a signal to your body that it's okay to relax. And as the body settles down with the breath, the mind might settle down with the breath. And then return to your natural rhythm and depth. And throughout this practice, you'll be breathing naturally. There's no need to control or regulate your breath in any way. Sitting here, begin to invite relaxation into the body. You might start with your feet, feeling the ground underneath your feet, feeling the support that's here, and relaxing into it. Feeling your legs, your calves, your knees, your thighs, feeling their strength, and yet letting them be relaxed. Bringing your attention to your pelvis, your rear, feeling the support underneath you, feeling the strength, the groundedness, letting yourself relax into that. Bringing your attention to your belly, your low back, the whole trunk of your body. Tuning in, softening, letting everything be as it is. As you lower your shoulders, and let your arms hang comfortably. Noticing your hands. And checking in with your neck and your throat. You might tuck your chin just a little bit to allow the back of your neck to lengthen. And soften your face. Soften your eyes and your forehead. Let your whole awareness expand to include your entire body. Notice the movement that might be here, whether it's some gentle swaying or the way that the breath moves the body. Letting the breath be effortless as it moves in and out. Moving from doing to being. Allowing everything to be as it is. Begin to sense subtle movements in the body, such as your circulation, or any tingling, or even your heartbeat. And bring your awareness to your heart center. Feeling the gentle rise and fall as you breathe naturally. And once again, ask yourself the question, who am I really? Who am I really? Don't worry if any answers meet the question. Simply be comfortable with that question. And letting go of that question and any answers you might have heard. Imagine allowing everything right now to be exactly as it is. The sounds in the environment, the sensations in the body, the thoughts in the mind, the emotions that come and go. Imagine allowing everything as it is to be exactly as it is. without any interference from your part. There's nothing to change or improve. There's nothing to get to, nothing to do. And if you feel the need for something to do, simply tune in to the body sensations, refraining from judgment. As you recognize there's nothing to achieve or acquire. There's nothing and no one that you need to become. You in this exact moment. You are the universe as it unfolds. It's not happening somewhere else or to someone else. You're having the direct experience of it. Imagine no resistance to anything and leaving everything as it is. As you welcome everything without struggle. You might have the attitude of accepting everything as it is. This moment is now, and it is as it is. Perhaps inviting contentment. Inviting that feeling to wash over you. Inviting peace. Letting it wash over you and through you. In this moment, there is nothing missing. In this moment, everything is whole and complete as it is. And now I'm going to invite this prayer, and I'm going to invite you to repeat each one of these phrases as a prayer for yourself. Joyful, energetic body. Joyful, energetic body. You can repeat it a few times silently. Grateful, compassionate heart. Grateful, compassionate heart. Alert, peaceful mind. Alert, peaceful mind. Lightness of being. Lightness of being. And as we go through them a second time, you can again invite them as a prayer for yourself or offer it as a prayer to someone else or the world. Joyful, energetic body. Joyful, energetic body. Grateful, compassionate heart. Grateful, compassionate heart. alert, peaceful mind. Alert, peaceful mind. Lightness of being. And now returning back to the silence, the stillness, and resting in being. We'll sit like this for another minute or two. I'll keep track of the time. So stay with your eyes closed for a minute or so more. Notice how you feel. You might begin to deepen your breath a little bit. Or stretch a little bit into the space around you. Really taking your time before opening your eyes. This integration period is so important for bringing the benefits of this practice into your daily life. Even though the doer wants to get going, let's hang out with the beer. When you do feel ready to open your eyes, do so first slowly with a downward gaze, and take your time before opening your eyes and really go at your own pace. I'm going to close by honoring that being, that love that lives through you as you, that presence, that goodness. Thank you for joining me today. I could sit here with my eyes closed for a little more. I wonder how you are doing or feeling or being. I do have to say those sutras, those phrases, joyful, energetic body, grateful, compassionate heart, alert, peaceful mind, and lightness of being are not James O'Day's prayers. Something else came up when I put that in my document search. And in fact, I'll put them in the chat. They are from the Chopra Center. After their group meditations, we use those as what are called sutras. The word sutra comes from the word stitch, suture, same root word. And sutras, like yoga sutras, are simply packages of information. Like they may say, now the teaching of yoga begins. That's one sutra. Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. That's another sutra. And in these cases, these sutras are designed to, if you plant them or drop them in the stillness, designed to activate what you're putting your attention on, that joyful, energetic body, the grateful, compassionate heart, the alert and peaceful mind, which is helpful for me since I'm fasting, and the lightness of being. So thank you for joining me in that. I'd love to, I'm actually going to stop the recording and see you next time.